What's going on, guys? My name is Logan with West Desert Wheeler. Today I want to take a look at the new Axial SCX10 Pro slider kit that Axial just released. I'm super excited about this truck. This one in particular is one of the prototypes. This is RD from Axial's truck, and so this one's got a few things like the shocks are spray painted black, and then also the outside is not flashy. It wasn't designed to get any, grab attention and whatnot. It's actually designed to kind of just sneak on by everybody's attention, which it did. So it was really awesome to get the chance to drive one of these prototype trucks here, where it is absolutely what you're getting out of the kit at this point, but really cool to see the dirt and the scratches on it. It's awesome that they took this out and they helped develop this truck with this thing, and I can see by the use, the scratches on the axles, the skid plate scratch, there's scratches on the sliders. This thing's been used and helped develop this platform. So super cool to see, super cool to get the opportunity to take this one out and drive it. So thanks very much, Randall. You guys can find more of my content on Instagram at West Desert Wheeler, as well as my website, westdesertwheeler.com. Now let's talk about this truck. On Instagram, we do a live stream every Thursday night. We call it Radio Talk, and we were actually able to get Wyatt on, who is an engineer at Axial who helped design this truck. This is kind of his baby, and overall we got to talk about all the details with Wyatt, how they ended up the way they did, and just overall, why this truck is the way it is. So let's start off with the basics. What is the SCX10 Pro? So it's a slider kit. It's not going to come with wheels and tires. It's not going to come with electronics. It's not going to come with a body. That's up to you, which is fine. You get to throw your own style on it, so that's pretty cool. The chassis itself is a flat rail aluminum chassis that gives you lots of tuning ability with different shock mounting positions as well as upper link mounting positions, and it's very modular. It's got some awesome cross members here. They're very hefty and thick, so like the rear bumper section is very stout. Right here, it's giving you extra clearance for your upper links as they get to full compression there. Additional cross member right here that helps strengthen the transmission cross member for your forward motor mount, and then a big, flat, thick cross member where your servo goes in, as well as an optional winch mount, which has adjustability for where you want to mount it, whether you have an internal spool or an external spool, just like this one is here. Again, nice big beefy cross member for your bumper, which looks like standard bumper spacing from all Axial products. So past bumpers as well as futures will probably maintain that same design so that you can interchange them with which style you're looking for. These are nice and low profile on this truck. I'm not 100% sure if this comes with a Pro or not, but I'm liking what's on here. Nice low compact design, nice and smooth, helps get this thing over rocks. On the chassis, on the skid plate side of things, super smooth skid plate. Very simple design. It's got a taper on the leading edge as well as the back side of it, which actually looks like it's part of the transmission almost. Super clean design, super sleek. The bottom of the rock sliders are super clean. A little bit of a tapered edge on the outside, a little bit of a tapered edge on the leading edge right here on your slider to help it get up on top of rocks and slide on through. So the whole belly of this thing is just sleek. The rod ends where they actually mount into the skid are high enough that they don't really protrude out. So if you were to have a rock slide across here, it's not going to get hung up on the rod end. So you can continue on down your link, which also has high clearance links in the rear. So straight links in the front, high clearance in the rear. So angled skid, going to let you slide all the way to the point where your tires should come in contact with the obstacle, push the truck up and over. So nice and sleek design there, super cool. Let's check out the heart of this thing, which is the transmission. This is one of the coolest new designs on this entire rig. I'm really a big fan of what they've done with this and overall the cool things that it's accomplished. So starting from the front, you've got your spur and pinion up here on the forward motor mount. So you actually see it's got a cross member for the forward motor mount up here, and it's got an intermediate shaft that goes back to the transmission / transfer case back here. Yeah, very cool. Your motor sits forward and low, which is ideal. That's where you want your weight of your truck, is forward and low. The transmission itself offers a very cool function, which is an underdrive option. So it is a selectable lever, and you can choose between 1-to-1, meaning 100% to the front, 100% to the rear, or you can shift it by removing this body pin, pulling it out. I'm using the body pin to help rotate the lever. It seems to help me the most when I'm doing this. It's got a bit of a lock snap-in feel to it. Once you get that thing to rotate up, you can go ahead and push it forward and snap it back down into the second position there. And so from that position, we just went from 1-to-1 front to rear to a 40% underdrive to the rear. Now, why underdrive versus overdrive? Underdrive is increasing the gear ratio to the rear. It's essentially taking the entire transmission from second gear and shifting the rear only into first gear. So that's a good way to simply think about it. So it's going to make your rear wheels spin slower and your front wheels will outrun your rear wheels. So that's going to help it climb up steep vertical walls easier. Once you get your tires to the top of the wall, it's going to help carry that front end and make it bite into that ledge harder and pull the front end in and get the truck more stable once it's up on that steep ledge. It's also going to help it turn sharper. And then overall, as long as you've got good traction on the ground, it's going to help keep the truck low and planted because the front end's trying to outrun the rear, and it just grabs the whole chassis and suspension setup and helps pull it down to the ground. So very cool. I'm a big fan of overdrive. Yes, this is underdrive. Essentially, you're getting all the same benefits. It's the same concept other than we're making the rear wheels turn slower rather than making the front wheels turn faster. Ultimately, the front wheels still outrun the rear. That's the benefit. That's what you're looking for, but we're getting underdrive sent to the rear. That's the key part there. Taking a look at the transmission outputs, centered for the rear centered diff and then slightly offset for the offset front diff on these modular AR45 axles. These are really cool. These are totally new for Axial as well. These have got aluminum axle tubes here, which allow the plastic link mounts and shock mounts to move around on it. And then on top of that, with this truck currently set up, we've got the chassis mounted steering and drag link or Panhard setup. And some people call it a track bar, but 3-link setup with chassis mounted steering. Out of the box, it's also going to have a 4-link option for this axle, as well as an axle mounted servo. So that's going to take the servo from up high and mount it down low, right behind your axle, nice and tucked up close to it, keeps your center of gravity down low, simplifies the nose area of the truck, so there won't be a steering servo up there, and you can run things like your receiver, maybe your ESC if you choose to do so, but just opens up different possibilities. In the rear, again, metal tubes in here as well, and then your link mounts and shock mounts bolt into the aluminum tube here, which everything is recessed and has a position that those bolts go into and lock into place, so they're not going to be sliding around on you during use. The AR45 modular axles here, the AR45 Pro axles, I believe is the correct name for this, but they are modular is what I keep saying. They've got the same internals as AR44s, AR45s, Axial Capra, SCX10 3-portals. You're gonna have the same ring and pinion in there. Obviously, these are not portal axles, so you're gonna be using AR45 shafts in all of these. Big, beefy Panhard mount on the chassis side of things, all metal there, and then it's got no interference for the steering servo horn to get full range of steering on this. Got a curved tie rod here. It's going to give you extra clearance around that pumpkin. Again, high clearance links in the rear, just very well thought out. Overall, we've got some new shocks available from Axial. These have got the Losi Mini T style spring in here. Obviously, I'm sure they came up with their own spring rate for this, but this is pretty common to see in the aftermarket competition side of things, is the little short springs down in here. And I like it. It's a sleeker look. They also feel fantastic. They're very smooth, and the truck just reacts really great out there on the rocks. The spring rate feels great. The shock mounting positions for tuning are in the arc of where the lower shock mount is on the axle. So if you were to unbolt this and just swing it front to back, it's going to line up with all these holes as you go front to back. So as you adjust position, it's actually not going to affect your ride height, which is pretty cool. So you can change that by using different spring rates and whatnot to get the desired ride height you're after. Out of the box, we're getting a full tire of flex. This is exactly what I want out of a truck. You can limit it more if you want, and I think it's right where it needs to be. So I'm happy with how it was doing out there on the rocks. So overall, guys, I think this slider kit is designed for someone who's going out there and looking for performance. Whether you're just out there having fun by yourself, or you're looking to get into competition, or you're already a seasoned pro, I think you're gonna find some excellent features available in this truck. And I think it's really cool that Axial has offered all of this in one convenient package. You're getting an excellent designed flat rail chassis, along with the transmission, along with shocks, along with new modular axles, and then options to put chassis mounted steering on it or an axle mounted servo, Really cool stuff. Wyatt absolutely killed it on this. Again, go check out that interview on Radio Talk. That's on my Instagram, West Desert Wheeler. You just have to scroll back a little ways and you can find the video where myself and Luke from Scumbag RC, follow him on Instagram as well, where we take an interview with Wyatt from Axial. So I need to send a thanks to Wyatt for taking the time out of his day to come and hang out with us and answer all of our questions. We get real in depth on it. It's about an hour-long interview. So if you got some time to kill, be sure to go check that out. Again, thanks to RD from Axial for letting me take his personal truck. Again, this was, a prototype one. They hit it, they spray painted the shocks black. It's been beat up, it's scratched, it's dirty. It's fantastic to see this thing in this condition that it is, because it really conveys that they've done product development, they've been running it, they want to know how they do, and they've put it on all sorts of terrain. So super cool. Big thumbs up in my book. I like the SCX10 Pro. It's handling fantastic out on the rocks, very predictable. Anytime the truck lifted the tire, I was able to wiggle my servo or kind of shift something around, maybe use a little throttle modulation to get it to settle right back down. It was killer on very steep descents. Those are very hard to actually handle, very steep descents. This thing, I sent it down wild stuff and it just ate it up. Did some excellent steep climbs, some ledgy stuff, off camber, not a problem. This truck is an absolute winner. Be sure to find the affiliate links down below where you can pick up your own SCX10 Pro, as well as some of my choice upgrades for the truck. And I'm looking forward to getting my own SCX10 Pro, as I believe you should be as well. So thanks so much for watching, guys. My name's Logan with West Desert Wheeler. We'll see you guys in the next one. Keep the rubber side down.